Some of you asked for more detailed information about the Huawei Ascend G6, and I'm glad to present you now the final product, especially because we now have on market already the P7. But I know it's a totally different league. This is a flagship product. Recommended retail price, at least here in Germany, it's 419 euros without any contract, and on the G6 it's mid-class. Recommended retail price 249 here, so it's different, but as you can see it's the same design. So some of you might stand before the decision which one to buy, especially because you have that metallic frame round here, this round edge down there. So I want to help you with this decision a little bit. When we are considering the design, you have to see that on this, on the P7, you have a glass back, and you can't remove the back side. Here it's pure matte plastic, but you can remove it. So you have down here, as you can see, micro SIM card and micro SD card. And by the way, it's officially supported up to 32 gigabyte, but I'm now using here a SanDisk with 64, and it's working totally fine, but not the big one with 128 gigabytes. So I guess 64 might be the final limit. But as you can see, you can't remove the battery. By the way, it's 2000 milliampere hours, so it's the same relation to the screen size like on the P7. But you can't remove it if you need it during the day, so that's the same problem with the P7 over here. But of course, one word more to the display sizes. As you can see here, it's now smaller. Instead of 126 millimeters, it's 113 millimeters or 4.45 inch. So this is of course a smaller one, but because of it's a smaller device itself, so we're talking about 65 millimeters in the width instead of 69, so that's a different, of course, and it's 115 grams instead of 126, so it's more compact, it's more lighter, but again, it's kind of the same design. Unfortunately, we do not have the full capacity of the P7, so it's a Snapdragon 200 processor, meaning we have 4 cores with 1.2 gigahertz. You do not have LTE, meaning 4G. You do not have dual cell HSPA, so in 3G networks you will have up to 21 megabit per second. But I guess the target group of these one will not use LTE because of the prices, so this is totally okay for me. Even if you do not have NFC, who cares, or Wi-Fi AC. The only point I would have liked to see in this device is Wi-Fi N, including the 5 gigahertz band, but so it's the old 2.4 only, so but nevertheless I can live with that, and most of you will do either, I guess. The camera has 8 megapixels instead of 13, but front megapixels still 5 instead of 8, but that's good for a front camera too. And videos are shot with 720p instead of full HD. All right. So up to here, I guess most of you would accept this because of the price, but there's one thing you have to remind, because you have internal memory 4 gigabyte only, and of that, if you have updated all pre-installed apps, there are left 1.28 gigabyte only internal memory. As you have seen, we have a slot for SD card, yes, and you can remove apps to the SD card, no problem at all, but as you all know, you can't remove all apps. So if you have some apps that are performance or near the system workaround or whatever, you can remove them, and that's a real problem. 1.28 gigabyte is not too much, especially I want to show you something over here. Again, you have that general and all you might know from other Huawei UIs. The only thing I do not like very much is that they have more. So as you can see here, we have that thing here. So you have to have one more tab, for example, to go to the email apps or whatever. Or in that case, let's go to storage. I wanted to show this. Let me go a little bit closer so that you can see. Here we are, 4 GB internally. Now I have installed some review apps for me, so this is a little bit less than I told you, but you can believe me, 1.28 GB have been standing over here. But as you can see, there has been made a part for applications only. So in this case, we now have left only 109 megabyte, but when I checked it out of the box, that have been 488 megabytes. So this is the point, 488 megabyte for applications only net memory size. And if you have a, let's say, average user has around about 50 apps, so of that will be, let's say, maybe 5 apps internal, so you can't remove it to the SD card. So this is okay, but if we mind of a heavy user having, let's say, 200, 300 apps, of that 20, 30, 40 apps that can't be removed to the SD card, you will have a problem because 488 megabyte is not that much. So that's a point where I guess you should think of buying the G6, or maybe invest a little bit more. Here in Germany, again, it's some difference of around about 140 euros without any contract. So at the moment, 190 euros, 330 euros roundabout in the web without any contract both. So think of investing a little bit more and having a 16 gigabyte internal memory, and of the net is 11 gigabyte net memory left, 2 gigabyte RAM instead of 1, by the way. We have a bigger processor, you have that camera and what I told you. So think about that. And of course, LTE and dual cell HSPA, right? So this is your decision. I just wanted to remark that for you, that you have to think about that. So, well, I hope, just one thing I wanted to show you, because I really like the design of that user interface over here, especially because pre-installed are some really helpful tools. For example, we have that profiles. I really like this one, where you can, instead of that normal regular Android, you can have your own profile. So let's say test over here and next. So this is not only concerning volume settings for each usage different, as you can see here, but as you can see, brightness, sleep, whatever you can imagine. You can create your own profile over here and use it whenever you want it and or need it. I know there are tons of apps doing the same, but this is pre-installed over here, so I want to show this. Or one other thing is the not the file manager, it's called phone manager right here. So if you tap here, the phone manager is scanning your phone and is telling you what you can optimize if you really need these apps, or close it, or have power saving mode, or whatever you can do over here. So needful hints what you can do to optimize your phone, but it's not done without your if you do not want to do it. Or you can have a storage cleaner, for example, over here, saying you telling you what you can do to clean up your storage and whatever. As you can see here, phone accelerator, you know what I mean. So these are just two examples of what Huawei has done. I really love that user interface. And if you do not like the concept of having no app launcher pre-installed, so go to the App Store. There are, I know, hundreds or thousands of them. So without any costs, you can install it by yourself. Right, now it's a final look on the Ascend G6 from Huawei. I hope it helped you a little bit, and please think of recommending my channel and subscribe to it. Thanks in advance, and take care.